Monday morning live, Monday morning live. Just waiting for a few more people to join. Those who catch this, it's going to be a touchdown for you. Those who catch this is going to be a touchdown for you. That's on God. A lot of people still sleep right now, but if you catch this, it's going to be a touchdown for you. Hold on. Where my glasses at, bro? I need some real coffee. Starbucks coffee. Those who catch this, it's going to be live for you. It's going to be a touchdown. It's going to be a touchdown for you. First and foremost, we're going to take time to acknowledge. We're going to take time to acknowledge this divine, eternal power that gives us breath, allows us to wake up. I already knew there was going to come a point in time where I would have to speak on certain things, but I had to make sure that my heart was in the right place. Because a lot of times what we do is we speak out of emotions, or we speak out of ego or pride. But there's a lot of things that have been placed on my heart that I know I'm supposed to share, but to share in a way that allows individuals to make their own choices and decisions. Because there's a lot going on in the world, and see, we don't necessarily have enough time, or we're not consciously aware of what's going on because we're in our own worlds. We're going through what we're going through, right? And I always said that my position is not to expose people, not to expose this or expose that, but to do my best to communicate certain realities based on experience and clear observation that's not blinded or blurry by my own personal imperfections or by things that, blessings to whoever comes on this live, man. Excuse my little cap. I just got the hair done, so I gotta, anyway. So check this out. There's a lot of things that's taking place in the world right now, and this message, what I'm getting ready to communicate, for some it will be liberating. For others who just come on to kind of play that whole game, that whole, where I'm located right now is 6:16 in the morning. I've been up since 2 a.m. So I've already put in hours of meditation and clearing my mind and going through my own personal processes before this even exists, before this even happens right now. But I've been learning through my trials and my circumstances and the things that I've been facing, the things that I've been going through in life. Because see, a lot of times we don't fully understand the things that we're going through. Even individuals who believe that they're going against someone else or going against other people, people who believe that they have a problem with other people, people who may be racist, or people who feel like they're superior based on their status or whatever they feel they're connected to. Those people don't understand that they're caught in a certain web. There's a lot going on in this world, and there's a lot going on in life. And I'm in a position in my life, I'm in a position in a place where there's certain things I've been fighting for, believing for, and you'll ask God, God, give me wisdom on what I need to do to really get to where you want me to be, where you created me to be. And I'm not talking about religion, because religion has done the one thing that what religion says it believes in, which is the Bible. It has done the one thing that God said not to do, and that's not to eat from the tree of good and evil. And that's all religion deals with, good and evil. This is evil, that's good. Don't do this, don't do that. What are you doing? That's all it does. And it constantly reminds you or gets you to focus on what you may be doing or not doing, to focus on what we call sin. Now, if there was a price that was paid for that, in all reality, you're not even supposed to look at yourself as a sinner. You're not supposed to look at yourself in that light. You're supposed to see yourself through God's eyes, which is not easy to do. But when you see yourself through God's eyes and you see what God sees, and when you see what God sees, then you'll operate out of a state of being, of desiring to become who God has created you to do. So then it becomes easy not to do certain things, or it becomes easy to do certain things, because it's all in reference to who you are. It's not separate from who you are. And so now you're focusing on, man, I did this and I did that, and I shouldn't have did this and I should do that, and I've been doing this. Because individuals who operate out of a religious spirit are always focused on what they're doing or what they're not doing. I don't cuss, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do this, I don't do that. What does that have to do with who God has created and called you to be? Then there are people that's like, oh man, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But it all goes back to the sense of, if you saw yourself through God's eyes, who he has created and called you to be, it will be easy for you to not do certain things, or it will be easy for you to do certain things, because it's in correspondence with who you are, who God has created you to be. That changes the game. Blessings to anyone who comes on this live. So check this out. I desire breakthrough in my life. And what I've learned is that breakthrough, and when I say breakthrough, because these are still religious terminologies, whatever you have been believing for, whatever you desire, whatever you have been putting work into. I'm not just talking about wishful thinking like, oh, I want this, but your lifestyle and who you are and how you think is a complete contrast of what you say you desire. Blessings to you. There's a lot that's going on, but when you simplify it and you understand the simplicity of everything, because that's the one thing about life, it purposely complicates things when everything is actually very simplistic. It's very simple. The world we live in is very simple. But we don't take time, or we don't have time to really sit back and observe and assess and discern, because we have already been pre-programmed to judge. Once you make a judgment of something, you automatically accept your judgment and nothing else matters. If I judge a person, it doesn't matter what they do, what they say, what they represent. That can even be the opposite of my judgment. I've already made a judgment. This is why I always say, I don't judge. I don't judge. What I do is I assess, I discern, observation, because outside of judgment, you allow everything to be whatever it is. Because you understand that everything has the capability and the capacity to change. So what you judge today for what it is can change tomorrow. It could be something completely different. A person can be one way today, and something can happen in their lives that causes them to become a completely different person, but you're holding on to the judgment of today, and therefore tomorrow brings something new, but you're still holding on to that judgment. So we have been taught and programmed how to judge instead of properly assessing, having discernment and clear observation of what we're seeing. But most importantly, that first starts with how we see ourselves. So we tend to judge ourselves. We tend to see ourselves in one light, and we just say, that's the way I am. That's just me. That's who I am. And in that moment, that may be the case, but it doesn't take away from the reality that everyone has the capacity and capability to change, to become different. That's life. Nothing is, the only thing that is set in stone are universal laws and principles that can't be broken. There are universal laws and principles that were established before the foundations of this physical realm was laid that you can't break. Right now, the sun is not shining. It's not shining right now. But the universal law says at some point in time, that sun is going to come forth and it's going to do what it's been doing. Universal law says that the sun has its time and then it will set and then it will transition and the moon will come. Those are universal laws. So there are universal laws that have already been predestined and pre-programmed within men and women, already predestined within us. The law of habit, repetition, the law of reaping and sowing. This is why it says in the word, and when you look at things outside of religion and see the wisdom and truth in it, so that it doesn't become, oh, I don't believe in the Bible, I don't believe in this, but believe in the wisdom. It says in the word of God in Ecclesiastes that God is not mocked. We reap what we sow. It also says in the word of God that God doesn't judge us. Check this out. It says in the word of God that God does not judge us. We are judged with the same measure of judgment that we used against others. These are laws. These are not options or choices. The law says 65 miles an hour. That's the law. But your car says you can do 125 miles an hour. Wouldn't it be easier to just make the car go the speed limit that's based on the law? If the law is 65 miles an hour, in most cases, speed limits tend to be kind of similar. So if the law is 65 miles an hour, and if you go above that, then you have broken that law and now are placed in a position to where that law can be enacted upon you. But your car says you can go 125 miles an hour. So what this means is that you have a choice. Now you could say, nah, I believe that I can go 70 miles an hour because my car is saying I can go 125 miles an hour. So even though the law is saying 65, and you may have gotten away with it for quite some time, but at some point in time, there's gonna be that moment where that law. So I have the choice and free will to go accordingly to what my car says. My car is not bound by law. This car is not bound by a law, right? The car can go 125 miles an hour. It's not bound by the law that says 65 miles an hour. So this opens up the reality that you have choice and free will, but the reality is there is a law already in place. And because we can have the ability to break that law, and then that law may not always be enacted upon us at that moment, we believe we can continue to do those things until the reality sets in that that law is the law. Now, why am I saying all this? The physical body is governed by laws. The subconscious mind, the conscious mind, the organs inside of our body, the way our mind and brain functions. There are laws that have been set up. So I can eat what I want. I can do what I want. I can think how I want. I can act how I want. That's that 125 miles an hour car. But the fact of it is there are already laws that have been set up to where eventually the law will be enacted. So if I'm eating what I want, I'm doing what I want, I'm acting how I want, I'm treating people however I want to treat them, I believe I can do what I want to do and how I want to do it because of who I believe I am and what I'm connected to and the power that I believe I have. At some point in time, the laws that have been set up that govern us are going to take effect. And that's the season that we're in right now. That's the season that we're in. Everybody is operating within these laws, whether they believe it or not. Everybody is operating within these laws. It just takes time for those laws to enact. And we're actually grateful and thankful because how many of us have been breaking universal laws or even the laws of our own states of being that we can look back and say, man, I don't know how I made it through that. Man, this could have happened or that should. But that becomes you not judging yourself, but properly assessing, analyzing, discerning who and what you are, why you operate the way you operate. Why do you think the way you think? Why do you feel the way you feel? Out of all the choices that could be made on this Monday morning, the 4th of November, 2024, what made me make the choice to say I'm going to come on YouTube Live? What made the choice for anyone to come on right now? What made the choice for somebody to say, man, I could be praying, I could be meditating, I could be checking my email, I could be getting to this money, I'm getting ready for work. Now, you know what? I'm going to go on, I'm going to go on this YouTube Live and I'm going to leave my comments. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to express how I feel. And in doing that, law is already kicking in because in some way, shape, or form, based on the choices that you make, based on that energy that you're putting out, it has to return back. Because it's really the same thing for myself. Me being on this live right now, me coming on and saying the things that I'm saying, that's going to affect me more than it's affecting anybody else. Anyone leaving things in the comment, whether it be of love or whether it be of hate, that is going to be what initially is going to return back. This is why God says he is not mocked and God doesn't judge, because we judge ourselves based on the measure of judgment that we use against others. Now, what's the main reason and purpose why I knew for quite some time that there was going to come a point of time to where, there's certain reality, not my feelings, not my emotions, not what I think, not what I feel, not me trying to convince somebody else or me trying to convince myself by convincing other people to agree with me. There's certain truth and realities that we have an accountability and a responsibility to communicate. And once we communicate that, there's a release. Because it's not just what you're communicating, but it's how you're communicating. The state of being you're in when you're communicating what it is that you're communicating. I don't even want to make this too long. This is actually a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but I just want clarity and kind of to build that bridge, because I genuinely want people to take the time to view this particular video. And like I said, it's the liberation of you believing and feeling like something has been placed on my heart, something is being placed in me that I need to get out, and I may be dealing with certain things and all this stuff going on, but it's really to release what has been implanted, to release it. And so, hello, wherever you are, blessings to you. I'm not trying to ignore nobody, but I just really want to get this out. So we live in a world right now that there's a lot of changes. A lot of things are shifting. And I deal in marketing. I have been down the path of marketing and graphic design. And one of the most important things to me when it came to getting involved with marketing and graphic design was to actually study the market. So instead of me just focusing on the technical side, building websites, doing graphic designs, you know, getting to the bag, this is what I do. I was more interested in studying the market and analytics. So it requires me to not judge, but to assess the marketplace. This whole world is a marketplace. In order for me to understand how to take someone's product or idea or vision and contribute to its success, I have to study the market that corresponds with that product or that service, that business, that idea. Because there's a lot of people that have a lot of great ideas. There are those who have companies that have the potential to be very successful and profitable. But the lack of understanding and knowledge of their market is what causes companies and ideas and dreams and visions to not be fully realized in the space of success, or what we would consider to be success. I recorded a video a few days ago, and it was kind of me feeling some type of way in my emotions from a healthy and unhealthy standpoint. But this message right here comes from me having to go through certain processes in my secret place to get to a place to where what I'm saying and what I'm speaking it's relevant to everyone, even with the analogies of the parables that I have to use to paint a picture to get a greater understanding of everything that I'm communicating. So in me being on the path of doing marketing, my confidence came from the reality of not only what I was able to design, but the confidence came in from understanding the market in which that service or product can be applied to get success. Those who don't study the marketplace or have a target market are less likely, it's not impossible, they're less likely to be successful, or it will take a lot longer because they don't understand that they may be trying to present a service or a product in a market that doesn't necessarily need what they're providing. That doesn't mean that your product or your service is not valuable or have worth. It's just, where's your target market? Once you're able to identify your target market, then it's no longer just about your idea or your vision or your dream or your goal or your business. Then it becomes about you understanding the individuals within that market. Then you begin to study the individuals within that market, and you more so are able to cater to the needs of the market. So you may have to go back and fine tune some things. You may have to change some things. You actually might have to say, you know what? I can see that based on my market, the target market and the individuals within the market, what I have is not conducive to meet the need of that market. So let's fine tune some things. A lot of times we come out of emotion and passion to where we're not properly assessing what we're doing or why we're doing it or who we're doing it for. So me being on this path of studying marketing and being more drawn to the analytical side of it. When you post something or you put something out, where's the target market coming from? Where are your views coming from? So even on YouTube, when you post a video or you put content out, it allows you to see how many women, how many children, how many men, the percentage, what countries, what states, what cities. That's the market. So if you're posting a video and you see, oh, I'm getting more hits in New York than where I'm from, And then I'm getting more views from men than I'm getting from children. And the percentage of women is actually increasing based on me being able to adjust certain things within my content and me understanding and knowing the target market and how much I want to impact or influence that market. Now, I'm speaking from this at a very basic level, but the world that we live in, those who are in elite positions, they understand that reality. And because those in elite positions who have time to analyze, they have time to assess, they have time to observe and study their target. So this is why they are effectively able to create and form and fashion whatever they are presenting to fit that market. And this is why they're able to receive 100% results from that, because all the guess and check work is out of the way. There is no guess and check. We spend a lot of time guessing and checking because we don't understand, first and foremost, ourselves well enough to understand that we deal with people on a daily basis, and people deal with us or they don't deal with us on a daily basis. So in our reality, everything is an exchange from one person to another person, from one group to another group, from one community to another community. This all ties back in with faith, religion, who we are as individuals, who we are collectively, but more important in understanding that a geographical location is a marketplace. And there are those in elite positions that understand their target market, and they don't create from the space of anything being personal or this is my idea, this is what I want to do. They're studying their market, their target market. This is what they're studying. This is what they know. We got Black Friday coming up. We got all these different things that involve money and consumerism. We got holidays coming up, so there's going to be a lot of travel, a lot of money spent. So going into 2025, we got to really ask ourselves, are we truly positioning ourselves to be in a position to have the time to genuinely, properly assess ourselves, discern ourselves, acknowledge ourselves, make the necessary adjustments and changes so that we can be effective in the marketplace. The marketplace is the representation of just life in itself. The whole United States is a marketplace. And there are a lot of individuals, there are a lot of groups and organizations that are becoming deficient in the true value that is needed to properly function within the marketplace, because we have stepped away or drifted away or have become unconscious, or we were never conscious of certain spiritual laws that will always take precedence over man-made laws in the systems of this world that were created by elite individuals. And when I say that, I don't throw shade like, oh, these elite people, these are, when you take the time to study who you will believe to be an enemy, when you actually take time to study, you'll actually see the genius, the brilliance. You'll see like, oh, okay. But when everything is the government and this and that, and You know, when it always feels like it's an attack, and nah. I've been able to, by the grace of God and by the wisdom of God, I've been able to maneuver through life to overcome pitfalls, to walk on water in a sense, because I never considered anyone to necessarily be an enemy. I can care less about how much you don't like me. I can care less about what you think or what you feel about me. When I start to operate in caring about what you think or feel about me, is because there's a relationship, there's a value, there's already a connection. So of course I value how you feel about me, but I first have to value how you feel about yourself, so that I can better assess that, are you projecting how you feel about yourself onto me? So I don't get into the aspects of, you know, drifting away from, they don't want to see you. They don't want to see you. Who's the they? Man, people are doing this and people are doing that, and your family and this and that. I drifted away from that, and I only speak on certain things that have to do with anything outside of me, from the basis of helping people to understand certain realities, but always bringing it back to myself, and bringing it back, more importantly, to a higher power that's greater than anything that you think is coming against you. Because a lot of times it's those unseen laws that we continue to break that actually gives access and allows things on the outside of us to happen or come up against us. Now, this all coincides with a lot of things taking place in the marketplace. Let's just say that there's a lot of things taking place, whether it be distractions, deceptions, whether it be those who are unconscious to the changes that have already taken place, not just in the world, but in the atmosphere. In understanding the spiritual laws, meaning that there is a spirit realm, and there are many different layers to that realm, to where, like I say, most people are not in tune with the inner work, because that inner work is what's connected to these spiritual laws. These spiritual laws are so powerful and so set in place that to go against those laws is very detrimental. But to understand those laws and to be obedient to those laws is of great gain. So that has been my focus, is to understand the laws that governs me from a spiritual plane, and then to receive the wisdom and understanding on how to connect to those laws, apply those laws, and then to get those results. Because we're entering into a new marketplace. It's a new marketplace. That's what I'm going to call it. Those who have ears to hear and eyes to see, they'll get it. We're entering into a new marketplace, to where we have allowed the outside world and outside influences. We have allowed unhealed trauma and pain and hurt. We have allowed ego to take precedence over who we are as spirit and soul, which are governed by these spiritual laws. To where what we call the human being is becoming so deficient in rightly aligning with these laws and why they were actually created in the first place. Because there's a lot of people, individuals, groups, organizations who understand how these laws work, so they know how to get these laws to work in their favor. And because they study their target market, they understand how to get their target market to utilize these laws to go against self. So as we are entering into a new marketplace, if you truly have not been doing that inner work, going through that healing, that self-evaluation, if you have connected yourself to anything that has more control over you than you have control over yourself, And when I mean having control over yourself, meaning having access and having the choice to operate accordingly to the laws that have been created that govern the spirit and soul, mind and body, or you've given that over to something else. This is why artificial intelligence is being raised up. Because what we would call the human race has gotten to a place to where, because of technology, because we have lost sight with spiritual connection outside of religion, because we have used the powers that we have been given in a very destructive way against ourselves and against others, we have become even lower than technology. We have become lower than AI. Because we think from a program based instead of thinking on a universal consciousness of systematic laws and principles that have already been set in place. It's already governing everything. So AI is increasing to the point to where it's not just the technology that we use on a daily basis from phones and TVs and laptops and our cars, but it's advancing to the point to where now it's becoming like a humanoid. It's becoming, the iPhone is now a technological person. It's no longer me talking to Siri on my iPhone. It's me actually talking to Siri, the artificial intelligence that can walk around and do stuff and think and process. And they're becoming so advanced. This is a quick commercial break. What is the purpose of human beings according to you? That can go deep, because if you break down hue, man, when you deal with hue, you're dealing with colors. Now, I said I deal with marketing and graphic design, so I deal with hues. I deal with colors, the contrast of colors, the blending of colors. So when you look at hue, then you look at man. Man is not just as a man, but man just represented humankind. And hue representing the reality that man, as a definition of humanity, man and woman, is of many colors. Joseph wore a coat of many colors. Those who understand the chakra system understand the chakra deals with different colors. So these things can be used as a weapon against you, or it can be used in your favor. So it's no coincidence why people wear certain colors. It's no coincidence why colors are used as a form of warfare. But the whole purpose of the creation of what we call hue, the species of many colors, the species of light. Color is light, light code, light. Now, I'm not talking about light like this light, a flashlight. I'm talking about light. Light is life, illumination. The illumination of our inner being, what we were truly created to evolve into. So the simplistic purpose of the human race is evolution, to evolve. I learned that through the basic concept of breakdancing, b-boying. When I first started breakdancing and b-boying, I was terrible. But my passion for it allowed me to press through the pain, the injuries, the frustration, and I had a target focus, which was, this was the move I want to learn. I want to learn how to spin on my back. And every day I would wake up and practice that target market move of spinning on my back. And it would take me 6 months, 7 months of training and practice to get that move. There were things that tried to come into my life when I first started breakdancing. And it was easy for me to say, nah, I'm not going to do that. Nah, I can't do that, because I knew where my focus was. It wasn't, nah, I'm not going to do that because that's bad. Nah, I can't do that because, you know, I don't do that. You do that. I'm going to judge you. Nah, I already had a development of what I wanted to become. I wanted to become one of the best B-boys on the planet. So based on me understanding what I wanted to become, it made it easy for me to focus on what I couldn't do, or what I could do, because everything was in correspondence with my becoming, my evolution. So I wake up every day and the law says repetition leads to habit, and habit leads to a state of being, meaning you don't have to tell yourself to do it. You don't have to think about it. The law kicks in and it just does it for you. So in that process, I evolved from someone who couldn't do that move to 6 months later, I was able to get that move. But during the process of it, I had so many things coming against me, so many, you know, my own frustrations and everything I was going through, but it never stopped me from putting in the time and effort every single day. And eventually, what my target market, meaning my target desire, in connection to the law that governs me of repetition, then it became a habit. And then everything that was coming against me actually reversed and came the motivation that was needed to go even harder. And eventually that day I was able to wake up. I didn't know what day it was going to happen, but the day I woke up and boom, I had to move. I had to move. So it's evolution. It's about evolving. The state of being I was in yesterday is a whole different state of being of what I'm in today. But yet, what was done for that? What did I have to do to enter into that space to where I don't even feel like the same person right now at this very moment that I was what would be considered yesterday morning when I woke up? But I know the inner work that I'm doing that corresponds with law. There are a lot of spiritual laws that have been broken that has nothing to do with your feelings or your emotions. Because if you pay attention to the world we live in, the world is not focused on your feelings and emotions like that. You know what's focused on your feelings and your emotions? Universal law. Spiritual laws are focused on your emotional state. So wouldn't it be in my best interest to keep you in an emotional state, in a mental space that fits my agenda based on my target and the results that I want? So that's why a lot of things are emotional based. And people invest so much in their emotional state because this is how I feel. But how you feel can change tomorrow. How many of you felt a certain way 3 years ago that you don't even feel right now? How many of you 3 years ago believed that this was this truth and this is what it is? And then 3 years later, it's to say, well, how's that working out for you? What did you produce out of how you felt? Because your feelings and your emotions is two different things. Your feelings and your emotions are like the ocean. It's like the wave of the sea. But your feelings is that boat in the ocean. So my emotion says, man, it's all the waves is crashing and all the storming that's going on. That's your emotions. But the boat that you're in, but you know what? I feel like I'm gonna make it through this. I feel like I can overcome this sea right now. So we're gonna stay focused. We're not gonna get in our emotions. The ocean is already doing what it's doing, so we gotta stay calm. We gotta be the complete opposite of what the emotional state is trying to get me to feel, because the emotional state can be influenced or affected by outside forces to try to get me to feel a certain way. Emotions or feelings are two different things that most of us can't even discern from. We be thinking we feel some type of way when it's really an emotional state. So we tend to make a lot of decisions and choices, and we take a lot of actions based off our emotions, but emotions are temporary. A lot of people make emotional choices that have lasting effects. And they look back at that emotion and they say, what was I thinking? But I can feel an emotion of hate, but that's not what I feel. But you can feel the emotion of it. And I say at that moment in time when I'm feeling that emotion of hate, but I really feel peace and joy and love, then I say, what am I going to operate out of? Because every emotion, once it attaches itself to a feeling, then it produces a thought, which then is transferred through your words, and words have the power to create. Now, why am I really like, what is all this? Why am I saying all this? What was the whole basis and purpose of this all? Because I never just want to come on and be like, man, this is what's going on in the world. This is what's happening. If you don't do this and you don't do that, this is what's going to happen. And they doing this and this is what they doing. And it's all, I'm cool off all that, bro. Everything has a purpose and a plan to it. And if you truly believe that there is something that's way above and beyond anything you can see, touch, taste, smell, hear, then you realize that there's a whole divine, powerful force and realm that governs over everything. So who am I to judge? After proper assessment, discernment, observation, trial and error, and experience, then that allows me to make a certain level of a judgment from a place of wisdom, because now I can act upon all the information that has been gathered. The world, the marketplace has changed right before our eyes, right under our noses. People are saying things are getting more expensive. Food prices are going up. That's not necessarily the truth. What has happened is, through technology, it has become easier to make money. So much so that you can make money without even having to leave your house. The pandemic introduced that reality in a way that most people didn't catch on, because the majority of individuals were so focused on things going back to normal that they weren't focused on building something right where they're at. Nothing is expensive. A wise man once told me, don't ever say that's too expensive. Just say you can't afford it. But one day I'll be able to. That's what he told me. He said, don't ever say something that, man, that's expensive. Why? Because there's people out there that can afford it with no, like it's nothing. The same person that's looking at that is saying that's expensive. Another person is saying, well, that's what I want. I'm going to get it. And they got it. So he told me, never say anything is expensive. Just say you can't afford it. But if you truly want it and desire it, say one day I'll be able to. So let me get to work. Technology has changed the game in such a way that it's right there in front of our face through YouTube Live, the phones we hold in our hands, the laptops and computers that we use. 98% of jobs in America doesn't even function without some form of technology. It's not like back in the day where there was typewriters and you had to write everything down and log everything with a pen or a pencil. Everything now is ran by and through technology in some way, shape, or form. And because most people don't understand the power of technology, the reality of technology, and why technology is advancing so fast, because you got to remember, a lot of this stuff was being released and introduced to us in the 90s. A lot of these social media apps, a lot of these cell phones and companies didn't really even get popping like that until like 2003. But because we spend so much time entangled and connected to technology, it feels like it's been around forever. It feels like it's always been here. So what happens is when you get so dependent upon anything on the outside of you, there's a part of you that you'll lose in the process naturally. Back in the day, in past times, You had a whole bunch of phone numbers stored in your head to where you could, oh, what's Kevin? Oh, boom, boom, boom. Let me call. Oh, what's Cheryl? Boom, boom, boom. You was able to call people because you had phone numbers memorized in here. If you were to lose your phone and didn't have a way to get access to those numbers in your phone, you wouldn't be able to reach nobody because you don't have nobody's number memorized. Your phone has become your memory bank. Your phone has become the form of communication. Your phone or technology has become the source of your identity, who you are on your social media pages, how you choose to present yourself. I could be going through hell, feeling like my world is falling apart. But then on my social media page, I could take a picture. Hey, what's up, y'all? Living it up, right? And there's a part of me through spiritual law that actually believes that, hey, we all good. So you could be in a situation or a circumstance that's not favorable. But because your identity has been split into two, to where your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between the hell you really going through and the heaven you present on social media, to where it just says, okay, well, I'm gonna keep this hell going because apparently it's a good thing if you present yourself on social media like everything is all good, because the subconscious mind can't tell the difference. So if you're on social media and you present it, it's all good and happy times and I'm feeling good and yeah, and getting your best pose and your best picture, but behind the scenes in your personal life, it ain't really cracking like that. It's not really all together. The subconscious mind can't tell the difference. It's just kicking in universal spiritual law. And it's going to say, oh, well, the hell we going through in secret must be a good thing, because there's another side that produces all these dopamines and feelings to where you present yourself and then people respond, oh, man, look at that picture. Oh, man, that's what's up. Oh, man, likes, thumbs up. So you're looking for the emojis in the comments to substitute the real work that needs to be done in that position that's not favorable to you or what you truly desire. And then because the subconscious mind has already kicked into the law of repetition develops habit, then it becomes a state of being and a way of life. So now you need social media, you need the likes, you need the responses, you need the comments. And you're looking at your life and you're like, but why is my life? What's going on, man? I'm frustrated, man. Why I can't? And this and that. It's because you already done programmed your subconscious mind that in this situation that's not favorable, it's all good. So now the subconscious mind is producing more unfavorable circumstances, because what it produces for you to do is to get this energy up to present yourself through your ego, man, the technology presentation of who you are. And you put that out there. So technology has shaped us to the point to where artificial intelligence has become more advanced than we as people. And most people are not paying attention to what's really going on, because to pay attention means you can afford to do so. Attention is not something that's free. Wherever your attention goes, energy flows. That's not just a quote. That's not just, oh, I know that. That's a law. Wherever you put your attention, your energy is going there, because that's a target. Wherever I'm putting my energy is based on wherever I'm putting my attention. So what has your attention? And see, our attention has been held hostage to the point to where we are now in debt. Think about the word, pay attention. Energy is a commodity. It is a resource. It's like gold and silver. Energy. The physical body produces energy. That is a commodity that has worth and value. So that's why they say pay attention. Some of us are so in debt when it comes to our attention, we don't have anything to pay. I can't pay attention to what's really going on because I'm in debt. Because I spend a lot of my attention, I spend a lot of paying out my attention, my energy, my consciousness on things and situations and people and circumstances that wasn't bringing anything back in. I'm just out here consuming. I'm consuming information. I'm consuming, validation. I'm consuming out of my ego, my own plots and plans, and I'm focusing my attention on things, and I'm paying with my energy and my consciousness, which is my life, to where now when I really need to focus on what's real, I don't even have the capacity to do so. So we're entering into a season, into a realm, into the next level of evolution, because technology is beginning to evolve faster than man is evolving, because we have lost sight of spiritual laws, spiritual principles that governs the spirit and the soul and the mind of man and woman. And then there are those who are using spiritual law for their own personal gain. They're using spiritual law to target their markets with their own agendas and their own plans, their own purposes for their own gain, which is still in turn breaking spiritual law, because you have to reap what you sow. God doesn't judge. We are judged based on the measure of judgment that we use against others. So God says, this is what you judged upon another. Now this is how you will have to be judged based on law. That's why God doesn't need to judge us, because there were certain actions and certain events that took place that put God in a space, in a place to where he no longer needed to govern over us. He provided everything in place for us to govern over ourselves. So we'll be judged accordingly to that. Everything is shifting. Everything is changing. To a place and a point. Everything is shifting to a place and a point to where we have to pray for eyes to see and ears to hear. We got to wake up in a very genuine way. I think the worst thing is to believe that you're awake and that you just got everything figured out and you know what you're doing, and you just completely left field. That's like driving somewhere, and in your mind, because you know the destination of where you're trying to get to, you're so focused on knowing where you're trying to get to that you're not focused on the fact that you don't even have the full map. You don't even have all the directions. I got the car, it got gas in it, I know where I'm headed, let's go. It's like, but how do you get there? Is there a faster way? What would be the best route? Are there pitfalls in certain routes that could get you there, but that road has been blocked off? A lot of us may know our destination, but we don't truly understand how to properly get there. So this is why we begin to depend on ourselves in a sense to where my destination is success. My destination is to be wealthy, to be rich, to be famous. That's the only thing we're looking at. And we'll say, whatever it takes for me to get there, not realizing that there's already a set path. Depending on which route you choose, the path has already been laid out. You ain't creating nothing new to get to success. There ain't nothing new under the sun. The only thing that you had the power over is the choice you made and which route you were going to take. But the routes have already been laid out. If you ever get in your car and decide you're going to go somewhere, you didn't create the route and how to get there. You just made the choice in which route you were going to take to get there. The routes were already laid out. Make a left here, make a right there, turn at this exit, get off at that exit. You didn't create that exit. You didn't create that freeway. You didn't create that lane. That was already laid out. But you have the power to make the choice to say which route are you going to go. And most people have been deceived into believing that the route that they're on to get to their destination is the right one. Or somebody comes to you and they present, this is the route you need to take to get here. And instead of discerning assessing, analyzing to see if this is going to be the best route, because you only focus on the destination of the fame, of the money, of the wealth, of the power, of the glory. You ain't even thinking about the destination. You ain't even thinking about how you getting there. Whoever I am is enough for you to come on my live to ask me who I am. That's who I am. Whoever I am is enough for you to wake up and get on my live to ask me who I am. Who am I? I'm nobody. Spirit and soul, baby. Energy, a source of light, love, consciousness, awareness. That's who I am. Because more importantly than who I am is what am I? See, those who study all of you, they're not focused on who you are, because you can think whoever you are. You could think, make up anything. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that, I'm this. But see, those who are running the show, they know what you are. They can care less about who you are, because them understanding what you are lets them know who you are. And then when they understand who you are, it gives them a better understanding of what you're capable of doing. So there's two ways you can ask a person, who are they? Who are you? Or, who are you? I have the choice to take it either way. I can feel defensive. Who am I? Psh, you don't know me. Psh. Or I can say, I am that I am. And I never mean any disrespect when I'm reading these comments, because remember, it's just words. I don't know the emotion or the intention behind it. So I've learned to balance it out and respond in two ways. Somebody says, who are you? If I'm insecure and egotistical, I'm going to be offended by, like, who am I, man? You coming on asking me, who am I? Who is you? Right? So that's the reality of that side that is there. Then there's the other side of love and peace and harmony that says, maybe the person genuinely wants to know, who are you? Who are you? So there's, man, who are you? Who you think you is? And then there's, man, who are you, bro? I like the way you think. Who are you, man? Let me know a little bit about yourself. That's the balance. That's choice. So I never mean any disrespect, even if people mean disrespect towards me, because I can't deny myself. I'm not going to disrespect myself, so I'm not going to disrespect you. And I've learned how to balance things out to where it's like anything can be interpreted in any way. What would be the best interpretation that corresponds with who I am? If I'm truly of love, it would be best for me to interpret even hate, to interpret that hatred, that negativity, that vibration that says, man, I'm going to come on and just say a whole bunch of silly stuff and just type and, I'm just going, because it makes me feel good, when it's like, I don't believe that anything that is projected as hate can make somebody feel good. Even if a person responds back in hate, that means that you have to, in some way, shape, or form, hate yourself in order to produce hate. That's why I told this individual a few weeks ago, I said, you know why I don't do that psychological warfare stuff? You know why I don't have to do that stuff. I don't judge anybody who does what they do, because it's always deeper than what you see. I don't. I just assess. If a person does this, I assess. If a person does this, I assess. If a person puts their hand behind their back, people like to stand with one leg to the back or the one leg up. There are things that people like to do and say, whether it be a cough, whether it be a whistle, whether it be a yeah, whether it be a yup. Everybody has their reasonings and why they doing what they doing. People tend to be more confident in what they're doing if it's not right, if it's done collectively. But when you become independent, and then you realize even in your independence, you're still connected collectively, it becomes very important for my liver to be the liver. Because even though my body is one piece, Every single organ is different with a different function, and it needs something different in order to function at its highest level. My kidneys need something way different than my liver. And in order for them both to correspond and work together, I need to give my kidneys what it needs, and I need to give my liver what it needs. Karma is I'm not going to get off topic of why I really came on here. I'm going to answer some of these questions, but the reality is, real quick, let me answer this question, then I'm going to get to the point real quick. Do you believe in karma? I believe in the reality that we reap what we sow. That's all karma is. We reap what we sow. We reap what we sow. But the reality is it goes a lot deeper than believing in karma. Because there are those who have done things against others that are not right. And they believe in karma to the level of getting spiritual law and understanding of how to avoid it and how to transfer it over to other people. So say this person ain't deserving of karma. They didn't do nothing. They didn't sow those seeds. You reap what you sow. I'm sowing seeds of love and peace. I'm sowing seeds of wanting to help people. I'm doing my best. Why am I going through this? Why am I? So in a sense, karma exists, but it only can exist based on your understanding of what it really is. See, these terminologies, when you put it on things, you reap what you sow. Karma, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's just getting the understanding, like the scientific spiritual law understanding of these things. Because we think karma is, if I do good, good's going to come back. Is that always necessarily the case? Ask yourself. Have you ever done good and something bad came back? Have you ever tried to do the right thing and it seems like you're in the wrong position? Have you ever seen people do the wrong thing and seem to be getting the right results? What's really going on? What's really going on? When you look at the totality of everything, not what we say we believe in based on knowledge. We think because we know something that's it. I know it now. I know what karma is. I know what sin is. I know what this is. We think that knowledge, because we were taught knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. The ability to apply the knowledge is power. How do you do that? Through wisdom. You know how many people know a whole bunch of stuff that they don't even know how to apply to their life? They only know how to apply it through conversation and communication out of ego to let you know what I know. Let me come on here. I want to give you practical application based on the knowledge that has been backed up by trial and error and experience, which gives me a testimony. So I can't even give you knowledge unless I give you the testimony of who I am and what I've been through that even qualifies me to tell you anything. Because after I tell you the knowledge, now there has to be wisdom applied to the knowledge so you actually can apply it and say, man, he said, if I invest in this and do that, if I read this book and read that, if I wake up and breathe and meditate and clear my mind, these are the results. And I apply that knowledge he gave me. I applied the knowledge because the knowledge was backed up by wisdom through the experience and trial and error. So I don't have to go through years of what he had to go through. All I had to do was have a willing heart and an understanding, the proper assessment and discernment. I ain't coming with no ego. I ain't coming with no pride. I ain't coming as no monitoring spirit just trying to hear what somebody's saying. I ain't coming with no judgments. I'm coming to see if what this individual is saying is something that I can apply to my life so I can get results. That's wisdom. It's a threefold cord. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Knowledge is power. Got everybody on Google, got everybody on YouTube, got everybody in conversations, got everybody just reading books, getting all this knowledge, but don't have the wisdom to apply the knowledge because you truly don't understand what you know. If I point up to the sky and I say, what's that big bright light in the sky? The first thing you're going to say, man, that's the sun. You're not going to say that's an electromagnetic energy ball that releases radiation. You're not gonna, and I understand how that applies because I'm a farmer and I know that I have to plant this seed in certain soil in a certain geographical location. And when that big ball of energy that releases gamma rays hits the soil and hits that sun, it releases a certain frequency and energy and light code into that seed, which then affects the soil. And then what's inside of the seed is able to come forth into an apple tree. And I'm able to pick those apples that has nutrients in it and I'm able to go and sell it in the marketplace. I just say, what's that big bright light in the sky? Man, that's the sun, and it's hot. But because we got a lot of knowledge, but we don't. I don't mean to laugh. I'm laughing at myself. I used to be that. We have a lot of knowledge, but we don't have the understanding through wisdom on how to apply the knowledge so that we can get results. We just regurgitating information. That's all we doing. We scrolling. We reading, we gossiping, we talking, and we just, and the ego is so deceptive even in itself that when it receives information or knowledge, it believes itself to be the source of what it now knows. That's how deceptive the ego is. Somebody could tell me something, and because what they're telling me, man, that makes sense. Okay, and now I know. The ego says it's sourced out of you. So then you'll speak it as if I know this. Now let me tell you. Let me tell you something, brother. Versus like, wait a minute. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I'm not going to fully receive it, but it makes sense. That gives me enough capacity to take the time to invest my attention on assessing it, discerning and observation, so that I can get the understanding out of the knowledge and then apply it to my life to get the results. A lot of people speak and talk and encourage, but they're not giving you any knowledge and understanding so you can apply it to actually get results. This is why people are frustrated, because they know so much, but they don't know what to do with it. If I know all of this, why doesn't my life reflect what I know? Because you don't understand half of what you know. You just know it. That's why in G.I. Joe, that's why I love our old school 80s and 90s cartoons. And G.I. Joe, after you would watch it, he would always kick a little message. And then the kid would say, oh man, now I know. And then the G.I. Joe would say, and knowing is half the battle. Check this out. There's an opposing force out there that don't care how much you know. As long as you don't apply it to get results, because technically, the more you know, without the application of what you know to get results, the less effective you are. Because there's no results. And the only thing you can do with knowledge is just talk. But when you have the understanding of the knowledge, you really don't have time to talk because you're too busy trying to apply it and put it into practice so you can get the results. And then when you get the results, you ain't got to say nothing. Just show the result. This is the result. This is the result. And then you explain and express based out of the result that you now have to demonstrate to the people. So what I'm communicating to you right now is I am the result. This is why what I believe in says, I overcome by the word of my testimony. I overcome by the things that I've gone through in life and experienced that I should not have made it out of to be in a position to sit in front of you right now. So the fact that I'm sitting in front of you right now is the evidence, is that there was applications, that prices that were paid, things that were just in check and experience. And I had to use the knowledge that I had, get the understanding of that knowledge, and then I actually had to apply and do something within all of those circumstances and situations so that I can be in a position to be able to say, outside of what you can do for somebody, or outside of the car that you drive, or the home that you live in, or the clothes that you wear, because we're always looking for the tangible, material reflections versus the more tangible, materialistic, physical being of the person and the condition that they're in, and how consciously aware they are and how in tune they are. Now, let me say this. Oh, yeah, you can definitely gain knowledge. You can definitely gain knowledge without human teachings. And let me tell you why. Because the knowledge of self is actually a law. The knowledge of self. That's a work that's an inner work. The knowledge of self. You know how many people have knowledge about all these other things on the outside of them, but don't have knowledge about themselves, so they don't even know how to govern their own emotions or their own thoughts? How many wealthy people are what we consider successful people? How many college graduates? How many organizations and societies and groups out there have all the outside material accolades of what we call success based on the knowledge that they have acquired? And apparently they applied that knowledge, which got them a degree, or got them a certain position, or got them a certain title, or put them in a certain ranking within any organization, right? So apparently they have some type of knowledge and understanding, but that doesn't mean that you have the full understanding of self, because there's a lot of people that are in successful positions that aren't happy, don't know who they are, have lost sight of purpose, dealing with emotions, dealing with addictions, dealing with trauma. Imagine if I'm a 50-year-old man who is in a position of success. I know how to generate and how to produce results when it comes to finances, but I'm still dealing with the childhood wound of not having my dad. So that affects my relationships with women. Think about that. I'm successful. I can buy anything I want. I can go anywhere I want. I'm dressing fly. I'm looking good. I'm eating good. But because of unhealed trauma that I haven't healed from, based on what I went through as a child, still affects me today as a materialistic successful. There's nothing wrong with material. I always say material possessions are the reflection of you. So however you present yourself, however you desire to present yourself, you are able to do that through material possessions. This is why people want to have nice things. They want to have nice cars. They want the nice home. The reason why people want that is more of an unconscious thing than they realize. It's because they want to present themselves in the best light, but they've only known the light of this physical world based on the material things, and not the light of presenting themselves for who they really are from within. Because you can have all these nice things, you can be in very successful and prominent positions, but that doesn't mean that you have self-awareness of who you truly are and what you are. You just may know what you're willing to do or not do. That can still compromise your state of being and who and what you really are. Well, see, this becomes a key thing. Even in saying knowledge of self, right? Take the knowledge of self. Now, this is what the knowledge of self says. Check this out. This is the whole reason why this live even existed. Take the knowledge of self. I've been in the marketplace doing graphic design, a marketing specialist, studying the marketplace, studying analytics. I've been connected to many different businesses and ideas and visions and people's passions, and I've seen what would work. I've sat down and talked to people who are very passionate about an idea and a vision, but based on me understanding the marketplace and the times we're in right now, I can already see that's not going to work. Not because it's not a great idea, but because the time and season we're in and the market that you would need to target, you would have to go a lot further than what you have. It's just coming from a place of passion, a place of a desire, but at the same time, you have to connect that passion and desire to your marketplace to see if that marketplace desires and has the same passion that you have, so that there's a connecting point outside of the service or product you're providing, right? So when you get to a space of understanding the knowledge of self, understanding the world that we live in right now. This is going to be real. I'm even cut the music off on this because I'm getting ready to get off and get this day started. Check this out. We have elections coming up, presidency. We have a lot of things going on social media. There's always something going on within social media for a specific purpose. Everyone's phones, everyone's YouTubes, everyone's Facebooks and Instagrams has been strategically AI tailored to you. It's not just in general. You have already been studied through marketing, through analytics. They know what you like. They know what you want to see. They know who you are. It's already there. That's why you got to take time to, sometimes you got to step away from the technology. You got to step away even from yourself and get back to the root source of who you are, which is number one, you are your breath, you are breathing, you are thought, you are thought, you are mind, you are spirit, essence, nature. So you get back to certain functions of your natural state of being, and you got to realign that. You come back to social media and you be like, why was I watching that? Why was I doing that? Why did I spend so much time? How did that even pop up on my feed? At one point in time, I never used to watch those videos. I don't know what. And all of a sudden now I'm all into it and I don't even know where. Therefore, we are in a season, in a place right now, to where if you're not properly in tune with what's going on within you first, and then connecting what's within you to something greater than you, because something greater than you created you. You are too sophisticated in creation and design. Like I said, what created me and gave me life was so precise, so creative, so intelligent, beyond my own comprehension, that it made sure on my fingers there was enough space right there of skin for me to be able to do this. That's how intelligent this divine creator is. The world has already shifted and things are changing. Make sure you take more time to invest in your inner self. Be authentic and genuine with yourself. Embrace the parts of yourself that are not public friendly. Embrace the sides of yourself that you wouldn't want anybody else to see, because nothing is hidden. Be genuine and honest with yourself. Properly assess yourself. Instead of spending time judging everything else and everybody else's life and what's going on with that court case and who did what and who ain't doing what, take the time to focus and redirect your judgments through assessment, observation, and discernment on self. Because there are technology forces that are coming forth to where if you haven't taken the time to evolve from within, you will no longer be ruled over by man. You will be ruled over by machines. And machines, no matter how sophisticated they get, they don't have emotions like that. They don't have emotions. Technology and AI, they don't need to take a lunch break. They don't need to go on vacation. They don't get tired. You know what I'm saying? They don't. AI is becoming so advanced in what they're creating that did you know that they can place AI, a robot in the workplace that can do exactly what you can do, and that robot would be considered an employee to where they can get taxes off that. Like, it's not like, oh, it's just a robot here to, nah, it wouldn't be no different than the fictitious entity that you have become in this corporation that we call the U.S. It's a business, it's a marketplace. Invest. Start looking into cryptocurrency, invest in Bitcoin, start looking in real cryptocurrency, man. Start, you know what? Instead of me going into all that other stuff, start to invest in what's within you. Most people will come on trying to kick knowledge and speak all this stuff that they know, ask all these sophisticated questions, but don't even know their own blood type. Don't even know their own blood type. Got all this knowledge about everything. You got all this philosophy and all these intricate and sophisticated questions about life, but don't even know their own blood type. Know everything about everything, but how can you apply that to your physical life? How can you apply that to your physical life, this realm, to get results? What results are you trying to get? Based on any knowledge you can kick on YouTube or any question you can present in a sophisticated way or kicking knowledge, are you teaching? How does that apply when, excuse me, Mr. Don, this bill is due. Oh, we don't care about what you believe in. No. We ain't focused on your knowledge. Where machines came from? Nah, we don't care about that. We need that money. We need them Federal Reserve notes. How much is your bill? Oh, it's $59.96. Oh, you only got $59.95? Sorry, your payment won't clear. That penny matters. Try to pay a bill. Try to pay a bill for $59.96 through your debit card and try to put in $59.95. The bill is $59.96. Try to pay $59.95. It's gonna say, beep. Wasn't enough. Payment didn't go through. Add that 1 penny, ding. All good in the hood. This is what I'm saying though. Hey, this is my thing. Do whatever you need to do, bro. You up early, 7. I'm here purpose-based to where people can physically see me. There's a purpose in reasoning and why I came forth. My key thing is when I get off this, I'm gonna go by your YouTube channel and I want to see the different videos you have posted and the knowledge that you're trying to kick. Because even you sending little text messages and stuff, if you trying to teach the audience and things, that's a blessing. That's cool. Amen. Praise God. I'm not saying nothing against it. But when it's all said and done, the focus is the true message and why this live even existed. Because if I wasn't inspired to come on and for this live to exist, there wouldn't be, who else's YouTube channel would you go on to make sure you can get the knowledge out there and kick the message? I get it though, it's all good. But the correspondence is do that inner work. Life is already shifting and changing. Eventually, the time that we have to get on and try to kick knowledge and things like that, I'm not trying to kick knowledge. What I'm trying to say is making sure that you become more advanced in technology. Your worth and your value becomes more valuable than technology. Meaning that technology needs you. Because you have evolved, you have grown. If you're still sitting around talking about, man, the prices are getting expensive, things are getting expensive. No, it's that through technology, it has afforded people to be able to make more money through technology than ever before. So the value of the dollar is going down because more money is going out because more multimillionaires are increasing. You got teenagers making thousands of dollars a month on their YouTube channels and TikToks. The access to be able to generate more money through technology has skyrocketed, especially since the pandemic, because that's when a lot of people started their own businesses, started working for themselves. They had no choice but to buckle down. Then there were other people like, man, I'm bored. I don't want to watch TV. I don't want to stay in the house. I want things to go back to the way it was. It ain't ever going back to the way it was. Because technology ain't going to stay the same. It's going to evolve. So things aren't getting more expensive. The value of the dollar is going down because more people are able to make money. And because the value of the dollar is going down, inflation is only showing us the evidence that they're going to have to create a new currency of value. And whether you want to believe it or not, it's going to shift into the Bitcoins and the cryptocurrencies. If you got enough money to invest in oil and gold and silver, if you got enough money to invest in the stocks of military grade weapons, because military weapons are advancing in technology, and guess what they need? The natural resources from the earth. It takes energy, it takes lead, it takes all these natural things of the earth to create technology. Technology just ain't just a phone that you talking on and typing on. If you break it open and open it up, inside of it are different pieces that came from the earth, that were created and strategically placed and organized in such a way that you and I can interact through it. We only focused on what we can do with the phone, but we're not even focused on how the phone is even designed and what the true purpose of it is. So I say that to say, genuinely invest in becoming more self-aware of self. I don't feel like I need to come on here and teach anybody anything. Like I'm not trying to do that. I'm not really trying to come on here and teach you. Like I say, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. What I am to do is to present the fact that you have choices, whether you understand the reality of that and how powerful that is, that there are universal laws and spiritual laws that govern man-made laws and physical laws, to where the laws of this world are shifting and changing, especially when it comes to money. Going into 2025, things are going to become more expensive. The same Bible that nobody believes in is the same Bible that said a day's wages is what it's going to cost just for a loaf of bread. You're gonna have to work a day's wages just to afford a loaf of bread. That's what it says in the word, the Bible. Nobody believes in it though, because it's been religified. It's been turned into a religion of control and do's and don'ts, and to affect your emotions and to So it's liberating. It's truth, but you gotta see it with a different set of eyes. If you're always looking through the eyes of judgment, you'll never be able to see anything for what it truly is. A person who hates me and don't like me, got a problem with me, trying to come against me and stop me, trying to do all this extra spooky stuff behind the scenes. You know why I'm able to still genuinely love them? Because I genuinely love myself, and I don't judge a person for what they're doing or where they're at. You have assessment and discernment and observation to see that it's a lot deeper than what they think that they're doing, because they really don't know what they're doing. Because if they understood spiritual and universal laws, they would think twice about what they were doing. Because 99.9% out of the time, the things that we think we're doing against somebody else is actually the reflection of what we're doing against ourselves, because the judgments that we use against others is the same judgment that will be used against us. God says, I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to see the level of judgment that you use, and accordingly to the judgment that you have used against someone else, that's what you have qualified to be used against you. So I don't have time to wish evil on people. I don't have time to judge people or hate somebody or feel some type of way. I don't have time in my own personal secret space to be thinking, this, and I don't have time for that. Because you'll already deal with certain circumstances and trials and tribulations, like they like to say, outside of whatever you could be doing against somebody. So let me go through what I go through based on me staying focused on what's real, not how I emotionally feel. What's of life and what's of death. What's of the light and what's in darkness. Because right or wrong, nowadays, good and evil, nowadays it's like, who is for me to say what's right or what's wrong? Who is for me to say what's good or what's evil? But based on the choices that I have to make for my own life, I could say, that's not of life, that's of death. That's not of light, that's of darkness. This is how you know you deal with individuals. Check this out. This individual says you're a liar. So your whole operation is already off. You're a liar. This lets me know you are so far removed that you ain't even thinking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. You ain't even thinking about how you're going to invest your finances and keep your family's future secure. You ain't even focused on none of that. because you can't even understand the basic laws and principles of when it says God is not judged. This is why it says God is not mocked. You reap what you sow. He ain't mocked. What you got a phone for if you can't go on? So if you can say this, you're a liar, God does judge, then this must mean you believe in God, you know of God, you have an understanding of God, you got a cell phone, go type in Google. We are judged with the same measure that we use to judge. That's how God judges us, with the judgment that we use. He doesn't judge us like, oh, what you're doing is wrong. That's the case. Look at the world we live in. If God was really sitting back judging, look at the world we live in. So while you sitting on YouTube, type, there are children that are going through some horrific things. I'm pretty sure you understand there's certain realities about children being sex trafficked and different things like that. But we ain't going to even go that deep. But you bold enough to be, you're a liar. God does judge. How does he judge? He judges us based off the measure of judgment that we use. The measure that we use against others to judge, then you give God legal permission to judge you accordingly to your judgments. He's not sitting there judging you. That's why he says, judge not, lest ye be judged. Thank you for that. Somebody who takes the time to come on your YouTube live to tell you that you fake, thank you for the attention. Because I tell you one thing, I don't have time to deal with anything that's fake. I don't have time to even conversate with something that's fake. I ain't got time to go and be on my phone wherever you situated at your home and in your life and in your city and state and be sitting there typing, you're fake. Nah, that's just letting me know it's real. That's just letting me know it's real. I'm not on your live. Anyone who's really making moves, this is a part of me doing what I do. This ain't outside. Like when I get off YouTube live, this is a part of what I do within my realm and how I function. So this is not like, oh man, let me jump on YouTube real quick and go on this live and I'm just gonna do this and I'm gonna jump off. There's nothing that you are doing that corresponds with you building up your YouTube channel in a way that's enlightening to others. Because I know if I'm really focused on what I need to do, I'm not going to be on somebody else's YouTube live saying, you're a liar. God does judge. Hey, man. I don't know what God you serve, bro. But the God that I serve, he said, hey, judge not, lest you be judged with the same measure that you use to judge others. I said, you know what? No matter what comes up against me, no matter how many people judge me, I'm not going to judge you back. Because I'm going to be judged with the same measure that I use against you. So whatever judgment you're using against me, that's the same judgment that will be used against you. So when you call another man a liar, now you will be judged to see if who and what you are is the truth. That's why you got to be careful. So now you're going through your life after thinking that this is just some YouTube, let me type some stuff, let me just, try to be a distraction, or let me just try to prove my point on somebody else's live. Now you're going through your life, going through certain things, and you're trying to wonder why am I going through this? Why? Because now by you, even your words, putting the energy out, that man's a liar. God does judge. I'm like, hey, that ain't got nothing to do with me. You're putting out there what you believe, and now everything is going to formulate around that reality for you to prove if what you're saying is really real. That's why I don't play games when it comes to this stuff, man, because we're held accountable for this. The world has shifted. Technology is advancing. The prices of things are not going up just because they want to just purposely make things more expensive. It's because the value of the dollar is going down. You have a lot of CEOs, multimillionaires, multi-billionaires leaving their companies, selling their companies, and investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, investing in gold and silver and oil. So how many of the average people who have enough time to come on YouTube and type stuff, who can barely pay their bills, ain't no multi-millionaire sitting there just typing away because they got to make moves. So I already know your bank account, based on the information that you type in, I already know your bank account is not looking in a way that has nothing to do with money or material things, but to set up a future for your children's children. And eventually, one day you get older, if you plan on living a long, prosperous life in this realm, you will get old, the body will naturally break down, and you want to make sure you can properly take care of yourself, so that you ain't 70 and 80 years old still having to get up and go to work because you wasn't handling business when business could have been handled. You was making sure that you was letting the world know on somebody else's YouTube live that this and this and that. Man, this is not even why we here. Stay focused, stay motivated, stay encouraged, stay full of life and life more abundantly. There's a difference between knowing the word and the word living in you. There's a difference between kicking knowledge and giving wisdom backed up by the experience of what you have been through and what you have gone through, what you have overcame, in order to be in a position to even be bold enough and confident enough to speak on anything that's worth anything. So take the time, man. I'm telling you, take the time to do that inner work. Take the time to really breathe and meditate. Take the time to really know what's going on inside of here. What's going on inside of here? That becomes the key thing. Take the time to know what's going on within. That becomes the true blessing and application. But check this out. It's about to be 8. This week is not going to be like any other week. The whole point of this, even though I speak with certain, there's a certain energy that I've been very blessed. Oof. So we get to a point and to a place where that's what we're going to start doing. Stay focused, stay motivated, man. I got to get ready to get up off this, man. Look at this. I got to do something with this. It's all over the place, man. Stay focused, stay motivated, stay encouraged. Stay full of life and life more abundantly. Stay in a place of love. Stay in a place of genuine love. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Understanding what true love is, cultivate that understanding of what it really means, man. I love y'all. I appreciate you dearly. We've been on here for long enough. We are blessed to be a blessing. Everything is moving in great and mighty ways, man, because we are who we are. So grateful and thankful. That's how it's gonna get. See, we'll get to a place to where the games, the BS, it's not even the effect that it could have on you. It's the effect of some people just need to go do something. Hey, go handle business. Go handle business. Hey, but check this out. I gotta get ready to head out. But this is what we're gonna do before we do that. Because life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. When I was 5 years old, they stole a young boy's soul. Mama gone, Papa gone, so cold, all alone, with no father figure, no good morning kisses, no good morning, baby, here's your breakfast when I stepped in the kitchen. Plus I'm plagued by the ignorance of others, cause of my complexion. Usher Raymond with this right here, these are my confessions. Just a young lost soul, half black and half Cubano. My father came from Cuba, 21, his name Gustavo. Now I just turned 11. And I'm dwelling in hell, cause my grandma said it would be best placed in foster care, but with no tears in my eyes and a heart without fear. Yes, a spark from within, like a shark I would fend for myself. I kept my ear to the street, like a verse to the beat. This was my reality, but only momentarily. See, them pine-side streets became my university. Starvation not an option, number one rule by any means necessary. See, in life, you gotta stay focused, yeah. In a world that can be so cold, a spirit unbroken. Yeah. Just trying to free my soul through the love, through the pain, yeah. Oh Lord only knows. In that secret place, he'll make a way for me to come home. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're dealing with, no matter what you're facing, no matter what you think, no matter how you feel, no matter what you feel, you know. Take time to everything's gonna be all right. You got this. I believe in you. I don't need you to believe in me for me to believe in you, because I believe in me. So you know how we do. I'm gonna spit the facts and I'm gonna give you truth. Let's get it, y'all. Yee! The Don Rodriguez Experience. I love y'all, man, with the love of Christ, our Lord and Savior, my Abba Father. Thank you for this day, for this week, for breakthrough after breakthrough, signs, miracles, and wonders. Showtime. Go time.